There is always a local hunter that seems to always get it done year after year. They tend to use up the majority of their PTO during the month of November. They usually spend more time sitting in a tree than they do at home during the rut. During this time, their Little Debbie, Red Bull, and jerky consumption quadruples for the year. When success hits, you'll find their picture on Facebook stating "Sweet November." Welcome to our podcast series called Local Legends. In today's episode, we're going to hear how a local legend repeatedly finds success and the story of their harvest. Now here's your host, Taylor Smith and Gunnar Womack.
Well, guys, thank you for joining this episode. We haven't done local legends in a long time. If you guys are the first time listening to this, local legends about a guy that usually shoot a big deer a certain year, or a guy that continuously does it. I think this guy right here continuously does it. So this week's guest is Andrew. Andrew, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me, Taylor.
So if you guys recognize his face, you might know what deer we're about to get into. If you don't, you need to go check this deer out. I'll put it in our YouTube. I don't know if Spotify lets a video play. If you're listening on there, definitely go to YouTube or Facebook. Check this out. So, Andrew, let's kind of get things started and just kind of introduce yourself and tell us how you got started in the outdoors.
Yeah, well, my name's Andrew Potthoff, and I'm 38 years old now. So, yeah, I got started in the outdoors as a young man. With like most young men with their dad or a mentor like that, and like my earliest memories are hunting with my dad, my uncle. Those were the guys I kind of started out with, and my dad's best friend and his dad. So it's like four guys that I'm the young buck in the group,
Yeah,
for the most part. So I've got this big buck, right? So like I'm like reminiscing about like my earliest memories of like wanting some amazing deer, all these dreams from when you're a little kid.
right.
It's right there. Like you're thinking about it every morning you get up.
Yep.
And it's finally happened. I'm 38 years old. It's finally happened, right? So my earliest memories and best memories of my life now I'm looking back at, and it's like these guys that have taken me out when I was like a little kid, and like I can remember that like it was like I just shot this deer. I can close my eyes and tell you, driving down the road, when I was 6 years old, of going down the road, fog, parking, loading the guns, walking down this gravel road, and like jumping on my dad's back and crossing this creek in Illinois, just like freezing your butt off.
Yeah.
And just like these are my earliest memories, like as a human, like not just as hunting. It's just like my best memories. It's not just the hunting or anything like that. It's just like these are my best memories.
Yeah.
And my earliest memories too. Also,
It's like learn how to walk. That's all we were.
Right,
That's all we remember.
Exactly. And like and you get to a certain point in your life and you start looking back at these things, and it's like, holy cow, like how did I get here?
Yeah.
And, I shot this huge deer that I've been dreaming about my whole life, and you get to this point, and I'm starting to like reminisce about all these things, and talking to you guys, and doing other podcasts, stuff like that. It's like this is the first time I really sat back and started looking at these things, and it's like flooding back to me a little bit, and so yeah, I can remember this like it was yesterday, and just walking down this hill, jumping on my dad's back, going across this creek with these guys that I'm still hunting with today. I'm the young buck. I'm 38. All this guy's 92. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to look too far for inspiration on when a 92-year-old guy is getting up and hunting his butt off every morning. How do you not get out of bed, right?
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome.
it makes it pretty easy for you.
If we can all make it 92 and be able to go in the outdoors, that's something special.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, it's been just an amazing experience. So, you know, you go down this creek and you jump on your dad's back and you go over the creek and climbing up this old makeshift. I think it was like it's like not a telephone pole, but an antenna pole, like a triangle, whatever.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we get up in this thing. I'm sitting up there and he's got this. I've got it now for nostalgia. Like, I've got it. He's like, I'm going to get rid of this thing. I'm like, you're not getting rid of this. I'm going to keep this. Someone's going to freeze on this in the future. So it's like this old strap to the tree plastic chair that I've been tortured on.
Uh-huh.
My dad's like, don't move, you know, like I'm 6 years old. So like my eyes aren't even moving, you know, I'm sitting there just freezing my butt off. And like, all right, so I'm telling you my first memory, right? This is it. So and I'm sitting there, I'm just freezing. And so I'm sitting on this plastic chair and I'm freezing my butt off. And so this is like the early mid 90s, right? And so my dad's got his shotgun. I'm freezing my butt off. My eyes aren't even moving anymore because I'm so cold. We got two does running by us. You can hear them coming across the creek. He folds those like, you know, a couple chairs. And I'm like, holy cow, what is this? You know? And then he shoots a coyote that's chasing him. I'm like, this is like the most amazing thing ever. You know? This is amazing.
Game we used to play back in the day. Duck hunter.
Yeah. So like now you can't hit the broadside of a barn. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, best shot ever, you know, right then and there. And for some reason the cover scent was a big thing. We had like raccoon pee. Like I could smell that to this day.
Yeah.
Just like never again. Never again. I don't even know if they sell that anymore, but you know. So like that's how I started hunting. So that like early 90s, like, so I'm sitting up there with a BB gun, right? You know, I'm not doing anything. I'm getting the experience, you know, so that like stuck in my head to this day to where I'm telling you a pretty vivid story for like being 6 years old and being 38 now, right?
Did you, when growing up, was it always deer hunting, or did you guys just everything outdoors or?
No, so it wasn't always deer hunting. It really wasn't. And so it always gun hunting though. So a lot of small games. So like right after that, so Bill is my dad's best friend's dad. All right, the 92-year-old guy that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So he got us that property, okay, that we were hunting on when I was a young man. And whatever happened, I think the property owner passed away. So there was a big period of time to where I didn't hunt Illinois. So I didn't hunt Illinois for the longest time. We hunted state ground. So I went from like hunting with like a BB gun, so still on that property for a while, to the point where I had a shotgun in my hand and there were deer behind me blowing at me to where I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, if I turned around and took off the safety, you know, now looking back at it, like I don't know what I was going to do. Right. But I was up there. So I can't really say I was hunting at that point in time. Right. So some time goes on. We hunt out like Western Illinois, and then we hunt some state property where I live, which is like Starved Rock. Some people will know what that is. It's a pretty big state park by where I live, you know, public land, which I live right here on the Illinois River. So I do that for a little while, but like most of the time we're doing like small game hunting and that kind of stuff. So still in the outdoors, you know, and then I get into athletics and all that kind of stuff through high school, and I kind of lose, I don't want to say I lose my love for the outdoors or for like hunting deer or anything like that. It's just like almost kind of not an option for the most part because we don't have somewhere to hunt.
Right.
Okay. So Bill, which is my dad's buddy's dad. right? The 92-year-old man he retires, he moves down to Kentucky. So he's a fishing guy down in Kentucky Lake. So we're going down there fishing and stuff. And he hooks up with this other guy that is he's got this opening on this lease in Kentucky, right? So at this point we get in on that, right? And I'm about at this point I'm about 20 years old, 20 or 21. It's hard for me to remember these things.
Yeah.
No, I never thought I'd be talking to someone about this. So, so I'm about 20 or 21 years old. So at this point, I've been a gun hunter. I've never pulled back a bow in my life or anything like that, right? So now I'm down in Kentucky, all right? So I can't really consider myself a deer hunter at this point. I've been out deer hunting, or, I've got the experience. I love it, right? I still love it. I have this extreme interest in it, and I'm still in the outdoors. So I can't say I'm not an outdoorsman or anything like that, but I'm still extremely interested in like all the sports and all that kind of stuff is behind me, right? So so here we go, right? I'm ready to roll, and so I get down there, and I've taken like just an extreme interest in deer hunting. So my first deer I've shot with a muzzleloader was about 2007, I would say. 2007, I shot my first doe.
Wow.
Right. So to say I've been hunting my whole life for years, I can't really say that, but I've always been involved in it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Just like, I've always loved deer, but
I didn't get to start hunting until I didn't get to carry a gun until I was in 6th grade.
Oh,
and
really?
All my friends around me were shooting deer, in 3rd grade. And I'm like, Dad, come on. We have all the land we need right now. Let me shoot one. He's like, no, I just don't think you're ready. And
right.
So I feel, I didn't personally get to hold the gun, but definitely was out there and hunted with my dad every day I could. So I know what you're saying there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even before that, like we were out in Western Illinois, which is like, Pike County and all that kind of stuff, in the heyday of all that going on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that kind of stuff, but we were out there for a few seasons, and like I had a big deer come out. He's sitting in my climber. I remember pulling around, taking a shot at a buck for like the first buck I've seen. Didn't hit him. It could have been a million miles away now that I think about it. You know what I mean? It was like the first buck I saw, and it's just like Illinois is like kind of weird. Have you guys hunted Illinois? I think I've heard something where you guys hunt like different states and stuff like that.
We've traveled a little bit. I kind of had to wait until I got out of college and got a little bit more money. And I've been to Kansas, Nebraska, and then I've turkey hunted Colorado. And then Gunner's been several other places besides that. So we have Illinois, but it's on the list.
Yeah. Been to Colorado, New Mexico, stuff like that.
You're more than welcome. Come on up. I mean, it's the good thing about Illinois is like I can't complain about Illinois. I mean, Illinois got some issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was Iowa.
Oh wait,
okay. I wish Illinois was Iowa.
That's how Oklahoma is.
Yeah, right. So like, it's trending in some ways, but anyway, we'll get off that. we'll get off that.
Anyway, talk about that towards the end.
Yeah.
So you said you were rolling up to Kentucky for your first time, filled that slot.
Yeah. So I get there, and then I shoot my first buck and all that kind of stuff. And man, I just like totally got hooked on. So in 2010 is when I first shot my first buck, and I shot him with a muzzle loader. And it's a whole story. They had like set aside there. So like the properties I hunt down in Kentucky. So just to let you know, like I've been there for about it'll be like 19 years now. So most of my time has been spent in Kentucky, right? So I'm in Illinois, but like
I got a question real quick. I know it's way off topic. Has Kentucky been the sleeper state that everyone's calling it this whole time, or
Yeah, well, we've
take a
had
while to get
success
there.
there
Yeah.
for sure. You know, I mean, there's big. Well, it depends on what you mean by that. Like sleeper state by like big deer,
Mhm.
like big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's big bucks in Kentucky for sure.
Yeah,
Don't
and
tell anyone.
I use that term lightly because I hate the term sleeper state. You know,
Yeah.
I think every state has a pocket of big deer. Every
Right.
whitetail state has a pocket of big deer. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
you know, what I mean,
like, I think about like what you're saying right now, and like, man, everyone can make what they want of it,
Mhm.
right? So like, you're on a property, I'm on a property, and so I've found like, well, you make what you want of it. Like
Mhm.
so I got to a point, um, where, how about this? I'm going to back up. I'm going to tell this story, and then I'm going to back up to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So I started hunting Kentucky, right? And like, so I started hunting, let's say 2006, 2007 ish, shoot my first deer,
Mhm.
right? So like, that's not too long ago. You know, I'm 20 years old at this point. I'm shooting my first deer, right?
Mhm.
So, and I'm gun hunting. So like, fast forward, my first buck I shot was with a muzzle loader, and that's 2010. Okay. And then I've got every year after that, except 2012 in Kentucky, I shot a buck. Okay. We'll keep going. So we'll keep going. We'll push it because it's a $1 state. And now I'm hunting in Illinois. Okay. And that we'll say I wish I had the dates on this. I don't know if it's 2015 or 16. And this is the first time I pick up a bow.
Wow.
And my buddy gives me a bow. I'm borrowing this bow.
Mhm.
Right. And the first thing I do is I shoot myself in the arm with the I pull back, bam, I just run it down my forearm.
Yeah.
And my forearm just, sticks out to here and goes back in. I'm like, I don't know if bow hunting's for me, but so I'm just being honest here, guys. So like, I'm like, all right. So I get it all dialed in and all this stuff. Now I'm starting to like it, right? So I'm like, I'm getting off of, I'm starting to put all the pieces together, right? So I'm like, how are these guys shooting these big deer? Like I'm like, I want to know. Like I'm done with going and walking to the stand. I'm done with pushing through, walking to the stand, and doing the basic, you know, weekend warrior, whatever the hell we're
Right.
doing. I want to figure this out, right? So like, when I get my mind set on something, I get pretty set on something, and I love the outdoors, and like, man, I just have like a tremendous amount of respect for whitetail deer, and so like I'm in it now, right?
Yeah.
I'm totally in it. I'm just like, I got a problem now, so I'm in it, and I've spent the last 15 years just out of my mind, every day, just like day in and day out, thinking about deer and thinking about mature bucks.
Yep.
Right. So like, I've totally changed everything I'm thinking about. And quite honestly, so I didn't have cameras before. I started using cameras, but they're not cell cams or anything like that. So I'm still like, not really, I've got all these pieces, right? I've got all the experience, I've got all these guys that have experience, and I have all these small pieces to the puzzle, but I can't put it together for the most part. And then I started listening to like some podcasts, and then I just like immersed myself in all this like big buck stuff, right? And I start trying this, I start trying that, I keep failing, I keep losing, I keep trying, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And it's just like, but I keep getting better, and I keep shooting bigger deer, and I keep
Yep.
going, and I keep going. And eventually it's like I built this key to this room of big deer, and I was able to stick it in there, turn it, open the door, and like walk in. And it was like, all right, I put all the pieces together, and like I can go and hunt big deer now if I want to.
Right.
Like, I don't want that to sound arrogant, but like,
No.
or anything like that. But like, holy cow, did that take a long time to do, and like a lot of hard work. And I never did that in any way to like, it was a personal thing. It wasn't to like, not for any, not to talk to you guys or,
Right. Yeah.
or anything. It wasn't to take a picture with a deer and show someone to show that I'm a good deer hunter or anything like that. It was just like, just the respect of the animal and just like to figure these things out.
Yep.
Took so much work, and like I have so much respect for them.
Oh yeah, mature whitetail.
People love whitetail deer, but I'd be hard pressed to find someone that wasn't. I'm sure there are people that love them as much as I do, right? But you know what I mean. You understand what I'm saying. I guarantee you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
those big whitetails.
Listen to this understand what I'm saying too.
Those big whitetails are at a level that even if you haven't figured out, sometimes they beat you. And that's what's so amazing about them. So
exactly, and I'm still getting kicked in my teeth, and I'll be the first one to say, hey, they're still getting me, and you know what, that's awesome. I hope they do, and they should. And I have some weird feelings about certain things, like even. So I have a little bit of old school in me and a little bit of new school, and I've been able to put those things together, and it's maybe pretty deadly, but like also even with this deer that I'm like, which is what we're talking about here, but like I was able to, I've shot a lot of nice deer before that, okay, and it wasn't with cell cams or anything like that. But I did shoot one in Kentucky. Like I said, I live in north central Illinois, and I shot one in Kentucky, which was a 180-inch deer.
Wow.
Man, I had this relationship with this deer for like 2 years, but it was like over cell cams. It was kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and I'm listening to these podcasts and stuff, and people talking about like how they have like these relationships with these deer, and it's over and all that kind of. I'm sure you guys can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
Bit. And it's real, and it's I kind of. It's not like I feel bad about it, but I just feel like, like after I shot that deer, and I wasn't necessarily looking for this deer that I shot. I was actually kind of like gonna take a step back from hunting with cameras and that kind of stuff, to be honest with you. And I did. I actually told one of my buddy's dads, I'm like, I'm just gonna go out there and hunt. And I was like, what are you talking? Then I shoot this deer. He's like, what are you talking about? You're taking a break, But, yeah. So it's like it's a different thing hunting for big bucks, right?
Yeah, it's an art.
It's an art, but it's also a different thing, and it's like you could do it two different ways, and technology's taken over a little bit, and I don't know what the answer is, but it's whatever anyone wants to make of it, because I listen to these podcasts and stuff like that, and I shot this deer with a crossbow, and I'm not shy to say that or anything like that. I was a gun hunter, and I had a bow, right? I shot a lot of deer with a vertical bow, and I've been practicing this year. Well, a couple years ago, so my buddy gave me this bow. That's when I started hunting in Illinois with a bow. So like, all right, let's go back, right? So we go back to now I'm hunting in Illinois, right? So like I've been gun hunting. I shot this deer in Kentucky in 2010, and now I got the itch, right? So I got the itch. I shoot my first buck in Kentucky. And now I'm just like so interested in whitetail deer. So my buddy gives me a bow that his uncle gave him. His uncle passed away, so I'm using this bow, and I shot quite a few whitetail with it, you know. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. After I shot myself in the arm, right?
Yeah.
so I got dialed in, and I'm getting good with it, and I felt comfortable with it, and so I started shooting deer in Kentucky and Illinois with it, and so one day I go out, I leave it out in my vehicle, and it gets stolen. All my stuff gets stolen, and at the same time, like a couple months before that, I bought a crossbow. I forgot when it got legal in Illinois to buy a crossbow. I'm like, oh, this is cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like now looking at us, like everyone, you know, kind of looks down their nose at crossbows.
Yeah.
But when I bought it, I to be honest with you, man, I thought like, man, this is the most ethical thing I can do.
Right.
Like some people look at it and they kind of think like, oh, everyone's taking unethical shots. I thought like, hey, I'm not gonna have to chase a deer around. I don't know. That was just my thought on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, that's a gun hunter's thought on it, I guess. But so yeah, I had no problem with the bow. I mean, that was perfectly fine. So shot a few deer with that. That got stolen out of my vehicle, so I did not replace it. And then I started working this year with a recurve bow. Wasn't quite ready to take it out. So well, I'm hunting with this deer. If you don't mind, I'll get into this deer if you want.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm into Illinois, and the guy that gave me that bow. Now I get into Illinois. It's probably about 2000 and probably about 2015. So like that's a big gap, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge gap, and I live in Illinois. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of crazy. But here in Illinois, it's like I don't know, man. It's like there's every fence row's been taken out. Like it is. I don't know if you've driven through Illinois, but it is flat as a pancake, and it's ag fields everywhere. Well, take those ag fields out, and there's nothing for miles. How many people live in Illinois? How many people want to hunt Illinois? You know what I mean? Like, so for a guy from Illinois that just wants to go knock on a door and ask to go hunt, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to do that because a lot of people from out of state have bought property,
right?
You know, on all these small little pieces, and it's not the easiest thing. And that's why I haven't hunted Illinois in quite a while. But now, through work and you know, I bought property. I lease a piece now for 2 years, and I've got other permission pieces. So like I've been able to somehow will myself to get like multiple properties. So I'm very thankful that like these people let me do that, you know, like holy cow, like thank God for those people that let guys in. And you want to know what? Like, so this property that I shot this deer on, you know, there's 11 other people that hunt this property. It's 250 acres.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So yeah, this is not, and everywhere I hunt. So like, I don't know, you know, like you probably talk to people that have leases. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Like a lot of people have leases, can do food plots and all this kind of stuff. Well, you're talking to a different guy because I can't do that. I'm okay. So like, here's what I've got. I'll break it down for you. Here's what I've got. I've got a guy that let me hunt there, right? And there's 11 other guys. Around that, there's who knows how many. It sounds like the fireworks are going off. You know what I mean? On the 4th of July. So I don't want people to get discouraged on that because I really did. I got discouraged on you know, like, oh, if this deer goes, I think that's the biggest mistake people make is they think, you know, if you let that deer go, it's dead. Well, if you kill it, it's dead too, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, they really just want to justify killing deer. And hey, I did it too. Right. So I've learned from my mistakes, and, you got to let deer go. If you want to kill big deer, you got to let deer go. And even in heavily pressured areas, you have to let them go. I will bet on a deer any day of the week over than a hunter.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I'll bet on them over than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So you got to let those deer go, and you'll find out that you'll have success. And I mean, I'm swarmed with people everywhere I go. There's not a property that I hunt. Let's say I have 6 properties other than my own property where my dogs are running around, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everywhere I hunt, there's someone right on my butt. They're right there or on my property. So, and I'm still getting it done. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, if
do.
you think you can't do it, you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it.
Yeah.
But you have to be disciplined to do that. And it's hard to sit there and watch a deer walk in front of someone else's stand that could shoot them, walk in front of 3 stands that could shoot them, but they're not there on a Tuesday. So what you got to do is get there on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like that's what you have to do. And like, I don't think people realize that. I think and for good reason too. I mean, like, there's so many. I don't know how many people hunt like I hunt. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening to this, and there's a lot of people that hunt probably like I hunt, you know, just lucky enough to get into a place, you know. And I hope they're listening to this because, you know, you can it's not luck. It's just hard work is what it is.
Yeah. Some people
And if you put in the hard work, you can really accomplish things. And it took me a while to realize that. And but you really got to want it, and you really got to show some patience and some, I don't know, a little bit of grit, I guess you can say. Get out there when it's you're freezing your butt off, and you know you got to have when you think there's no deer around, and you know that kind of stuff, because you're waiting for about 15 seconds, but you might be waiting 2 years.
Yeah.
15 seconds. So what do you got? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know, and that's hard to say to someone and for them to believe that, but I started believing it and I started killing big deer. So,
yeah, no, you talked about, you know, overpopulated places. And right now, you know, I don't think there's any states that aren't really overpopulated or, you know, have hunters everywhere. And, you know, there's some places that are smaller and smaller. I still believe we are still probably have 3 or 4 people is probably average on a 160 right now where we are. And we're still, you know, shooting big deer. And, you know, some of there's 80s around us that have 4 or 5 people on them. And, and that's exactly, you just got to bet on the deer. Heck, I know one of my deer I'm targeting next year actually lives on my neighbors, and I know where because I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
They hunt 30 yards on the other side of where he's bedded. But the fact that he's more comfortable coming our way because how they hunt, you know, I mean, we have 4 years of pictures of him. You know, next year he's should be 5.5, maybe 6.5. It's like we are going to have a chance
too.
Yeah, it's like we're going to have the chance to get him down, and he's done this for years. And these people shoot everything. He would already be done. I mean, we've seen deer jump the fence and clearing in front of them, boom, shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing. You also got to learn how to, you know, what these deer do. You know, everyone wants to break down in all these podcasts, and we've done it too. I've done it in my videos. I want to break down how deer travel. Not all of them travel the same. The one I shot this year, that dude was the craziest, the most skittish. I mean, he did everything that I said he wouldn't do every time.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing like what some of these deer will do. And like, so like you know, like you listen to these podcasts and stuff like that. It's like, you know, nothing's always the same, and no property is always the same, you know, and it's just like, you have to think out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
I found you really have to think out of the box. Like, man, I got a ladder this year and sat in a cornfield 3 rows back on a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, don't do what everyone tells you to do. Just think about it. You just have to think about what you're doing. And like you're saying, like, you know, you have to also hunt. You're hunting deer, but you're also hunting with, like you said, like there's so many people around. So many people are into this, right? And like, so many people are hunting now, and they have the knowledge. It's right there at their fingertips, and so you gotta be, man, you gotta be with it a little bit, and you gotta understand what people are doing and what they're doing wrong. You gotta capitalize on what they're doing wrong also. So there's a lot that goes into it. So it's not just the deer, it's people too.
My favorite people are the weekend warriors, and I hate saying that because I'm not saying they don't know how to hunt, but they're limited. I'm thankful I have a little bit more free time, but there's a lot of people that are limited on time and aren't really keying on what they need to. And that's where a lot of times I capitalize on my bigger deer is, all right, my neighbor's hunting this wrong, blowing their wind. That deer knows he's there. He's using my property. Use the wind right. Boom, he's dead.
Yeah, exactly. So even where I'm hunting and stuff like that, like what you're saying with the weekend warrior stuff, but it goes down to even like, man, I know they chisel plow this field. Like I can't put in food plots or anything like that. So I know I need to get this done. It like I can sit there and watch them on another field that is not chisel plowed. You understand? So like, I know what my time frame is. These other guys are sitting out there in shotgun season on Mars. Like I know what my time frame is. So get it done, right? And like the same thing you're saying. Everyone's getting the pressure and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I hope they're not watching this. but yeah, there's, like you're saying, like you can really, if you're really into this, you can figure all these things out. And it took me a while to figure all this out, but man, I put in so much time in figuring this out. Now I've figured it out, right? So like I can get down to the day, you know what I mean? Like I was like this deer, I was going out there on this day to shoot this deer, and I was 4 hours away from shooting them. You know what I mean? Like to when I was going to go out there, just because I had to go to work. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like it got down from me shooting a deer, my first buck in 2010, to this obsession, to me knowing within a couple hours of a year to shooting a deer, which sounds crazy, right? That sounds a little nuts, but I don't know. Maybe I need to get a life. You know what I mean?
That's mean. There's a lot of people that are going to listen to this. And we're like that. I mean, I pretty much built my life around hunting, and that's where this channel came in. It's like, did we really want to do this? Not really, but we had a bunch of people asking us how. Like they were when was 2013, 2012. Still in high school, I shot a 180-inch deer, and people are like, "Oh, that must have been easy," or your dad, or I mean, they use terms that I was like, "You're wrong." Like that was my work. That's my dad helped me, absolutely. My dad had a full-time job and paid for the seed, but I planted all the seed. You know what I mean? So my dad helped me, and I'll give him all the praise in the world.
Exactly, man. There's nothing to you don't even need to. I know what you're trying to say. I know exactly what you're trying to say. And like, I say the same thing. It's like, man, I couldn't do this without all the people that helped me to get here to do this. But also you did it too. You know what I mean? Like, so like you have the ambition too. And so do I. And but you can't do it by yourself. You can't, most things in life, you can't do by yourself, right? I don't care what you're doing. You can't do most things by yourself. But you have the ambition, you have the work ethic, and I think anything in life you do, you have to have that. So I think like with deer hunting, you have to have that. If you can't pack it in early, and expect to be a good deer hunter. I mean, you might get a one-off, whatever, but that doesn't make you.
Yeah, it's like here in Oklahoma, you can't walk out October 1st and think you're a good deer hunter. It's year-round. Some people do it. I mean, it's done, but the people that are in it that have a long term or years of harvesting big deer, it's because they put in work. It's not because they walk out one day and are like, all right, boom. So
yeah, exactly.
Going into this season, did you know about this deer that you shot?
So in man, I like to think I did.
Yeah.
So I like to think I did. So how do I want to explain this? So like some new things have come to light to me. So
Yeah.
So 23, like, so I've shot some good deer, right? So like I get focusing on a deer, and then everything else goes. So I'm in Kentucky and I'm in Illinois. In Illinois, I got about we'll call it like 5 properties, right? Illinois, and in Kentucky, I got about 4. Okay, different farms, right? So I'm trying to figure out everything, right? Where's the big one? What do I want to do? So now I'm in the big box, right? So it never really been like that for me. So I got the buck fever, right? Probably about 2015, I would say. I want to figure these things out. Everyone else is shooting, I want to figure it out myself. And so I'm full bore into this thing. Like I'm just like every day I spend is in the outdoors trying to figure out mature whitetail deer. And so I've shot quite a few really nice deer, like 190, a couple 3 in the 180s, really nice, like 150-inch 8-pointer.
Jeez.
I'm starting to get some nice deer, right? So I'm starting to figure this out, right? So I'm figuring it out, and like that one in Kentucky. So like, I don't mean to be talking about this deer in Kentucky, but like I was all over this thing, and I'm looking at it like it's a 200-inch deer because I thought it was. So I'm not like very good at looking at a trail camera and going, this size deer. Some of these guys are very good at that, and I don't understand how they're good at it, but but they are. I guess they can get it down to the inch. I have no idea how the hell they're doing that.
I think some of them are good at it, and some of them think they're good at it.
Yeah, I have no clue. So I'm like, this is 250. No, I didn't think that, but I'm like, this has got to be close to 200 inches, right? Like I've seen some deer. I've shot some nice ones, and I know that they're like 180s, right? And I shot like 190, 194. So I'm like, this has to be a 200-inch deer from my pictures. Okay, so I'm at it for like 2 years in Kentucky, and like this is the first time, like I said, like I feel weird about the trail cameras and all that kind of stuff, right? So like this is the first time I start using trail cameras, and like I live in North Central Illinois, so like it's 6 hours away, right? So I got 2 years. I'm looking at this deer in Kentucky, and he is not camera shy. So like I've got some sleepless nights. You know what I mean? I'm tossing. I've been thinking about this deer, and I've already fulfilled everything that I've wanted to fulfill as like a deer hunter, as like a whitetail deer hunter. I'm like getting a big buck. Like I've got several on the wall at this point, and like I had nothing to prove to myself anymore. And but like, hey, here's a good one, right? Like we're not gonna not go for this deer. And so like I was saying, like you get like I don't know, like a relationship with these deer when you have them on like a cell cam, I guess. So I go 2 years, so I'm not paying attention to Illinois anymore. It's basically what I'm trying to say is I'm not paying attention to Illinois anymore, and I'm just focused on this deer in Kentucky, and then in Illinois, I am patterning a couple of really nice like 145, 150-inch deer. Got a couple of like nothing better than patterning a deer first 2 weekends in Illinois, going fed to food. You know what I mean? So like I was able to take those out immediately, like the first 2 weeks. So 23, I'm done by the first week, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to Kentucky. Forget it. My mind's off. I got all my cameras. I'm done. I don't care. And same thing for the next year, 24. But in 24, just by chance, I shoot my second deer on like the second weekend of opening season. And I still haven't shot the deer in Kentucky, right? So I'm still after him. And my mind's on him completely. But I've got these other deer pattern, which are nice deer. But I'm not looking down my nose at them at all. I mean, they're nice deer for sure. But, you know, if there was a bigger deer that showed up, right, I'd be on it. So, like, I'm not saying like if a bigger deer showed up, I would not be after him. I would. And I don't really use cameras. So I got one camera that I use. So like if I spread it out, I probably would have maybe found this deer. But you know, a lot of times I just like I kind of is a little old school with it. I kind of just still scout with my eyes and go out in glass and stuff. But like, hey man, Illinois, you know, corn season, forget about that. You know what I mean? Corn goes up, it's over. You know, like forget about it. It's July, corn's up. I mean, you're in the woods, which you don't want to be. You don't want to be chasing deer out and all that kind of stuff. So corn years are kind of a little difficult, which I shot them in a corn year. This past year was a corn year. So that's probably why no one knew about them. But so I'm after this deer in Kentucky. And so we're in 24. It's the second buck I'm shooting. And it's like the 14th of October, the second weekend. So I shoot this deer. I'm going to track him. Nice, the 145 or whatever. You know, here's me talking about, you know, passing deer and stuff. I shoot a 145. but anyway, we stopped doing that. But anyway, so I'm going to track him. I walk out of the woods and I'm in this field. I look to my left and there's this deer just standing there looking at me and just like monster of a deer. I'm just like, holy cow. And he's just standing there looking at me. He didn't have a drop tine on him or anything like that. He's just standing there looking at me. I'm like, man, I messed up. You know?
Yeah.
I messed up. But I got over it pretty quick. You know, what are you going to do? Right. It's over. Season's over. You know, maybe Andrew should have put in a little bit more work. You know? But so I go track my deer. I'm more than happy with the deer I got. Okay. So got that. I'm on to Kentucky. I get that deer, which I'm thrilled about. You know, I got this deer that I've been after for 2 years. So like, whew. So I got all the deer I'm planning on getting. You know, I'm ready to go back to my old ways of just like, hey man, I just want to get into a stand, just relax. Because like I said, like chasing big deer is like, it's a different game. It's totally different. It's cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool, but it's different. As everyone that chases big deer know, big mature bucks that knows it's a different game, and it'll keep you up at night. And sometimes you want, me personally, I just want to like maybe take a break from it a little bit, to be honest with you. And I told my buddy's dad that one night. I shot this deer. He's like, "What are you talking about, man?" So anyway, so I know that there's a big deer out there, right? So like my mind's kind of going a little bit too. So I'm like, I know there's a big deer out there, the biggest deer I've probably ever seen. But at this point, so it's early in the season. I shot this deer, right? It's the 14th, so I'm like done. Like my tag's filled, and like when I kind of get done hunting, I don't go in there. You know, like I said, there's a lot of other people that hunt this property and stuff like that, and like there's other people that hunt around it. So man, you know, like I try to not pressure places that are pressured like crazy. You know, what's more pressure going to do? Nothing good. But I have my spot. No one's going in there, right? So my thought is, hey, let the deer go in there and feel comfortable. They can only do me good. You know, me sitting in there doing jacking around is not going to do any good for these deer. You know, they need a place to go. And so I stay out of that, and I back off. And there's no reason for me to be in there. And I got all my deer for the year, and we process our own deer and all that kind of stuff. So I got my deer down in Kentucky and all that kind of stuff. So I got enough meat for the year and we're good to go. So I lay off for the year and I figure, boy, if that thing made it out, he made it out, like what a miracle that would be, and like, I can say there's pressure, but there's pressure. There's pressure, not just on that farm, there's pressure around it. There's pressure everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just fingers of woods. Like it's not, once that corn gets out of there, man, it's like they have everywhere to go with the corn, right? That's why no one knows about this deer. That's how he disappeared. So there's fingers of woods, or, in Illinois where you can't get a combine for the most part. That's where you can hunt. So it's like it's runoffs, it's little ditches, but boy, they're few and far between. They're few and far between here. Everything's flat. So where I live is the Illinois Valley. So there's valleys and stuff like that, and tributaries, and there's runoffs and all that kind of stuff. So like there's a little bit more terrain where I live.
Right.
So there's a little bit more places to hunt, I guess you can say. And but they can run off like in a corn year. They can get out into runoffs and stuff like that, and you're just not going to see them in the woods. They're just gone. They have all the food and water they need. They're out of here. You're never going to see them. You can't really find if they're there. Maybe if you own the property way off and wherever, you can track them, but you need to know where they're at. It's a crapshoot for the most part. So, so basically, what had happened is like, so I go into the year. I see this big deer. I'm tracking the other one. He's standing out there. I think it's the same deer that I shot. I'm not 100% right, but I believe that that's him. And he's standing out there in all his glory, just a monster deer, And I shot that deer in Kentucky, and at that point, and I'm just looking at him like, I'll never shoot a 200-inch deer. Like I don't mean that sounds bad. I don't mean that to be. I'm more than happy with that deer in Kentucky. Like I said, I was going to take a break from deer hunting, but that was a 180-inch deer. I'm like, well, 200-inch deers, they just don't exist. They don't exist unless you're like, I don't mean to be smart about that, but like, so I got to a point to where I shot a lot of really nice deer, and I'm looking on cameras now. So now I have cameras, right? So I got all these cameras up, and so it's not just my eyes out there. It's all these cameras all over the place. So I'm picking up anything and everything, right? From Illinois, all across Illinois, all the way down to Kentucky. And I know that I don't have a 200-inch deer. And that's okay. I mean, that's not like, it's a goal, but I'm starting to realize like that's more of a dream than a reality.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm watching all this content and all this stuff, and you see these guys that have, multi-millionaire properties, and, they're basically farming deer, which is cool. Hey, I'll do it. Hey, I'll be the first one to do it. So, you know what I mean? I'm not knocking on that at all, but they're only shooting a few of them in their lifetime. You know what I mean? So like, I start really realizing like, maybe this is more of a dream than a reality, that I'm going to shoot a 200-inch deer in my life, and that's fine. I'm not missing a moment of enjoying my time hunting. Okay. So I'm not missing a sunset or sunrise, I'm enjoying my time with my family and friends, and that's important to anyone that's, out there hunting. Like, that's what's important to me. And like, don't miss that on your journey of whatever your goal is. Like that's, pretty important. So I get to this point to shoot this deer in Kentucky. I'm like done. Like I just want to go out and just enjoy my time. I kind of forget about this deer, and I got one camera up and I got a really nice picture of a deer. And now I realize that it wasn't the deer that I thought it was.
Yeah.
So this guy actually sent me a picture. Like I said, I did a podcast with Buckmasters, and like I kind of told the story now, some other things came to light to where like I had a picture of this deer with a drop tine. Well, that ain't the deer. So that's a totally different thing, totally different deer. But so this guy had a picture that was a neighbor of, he got the sheds of it, right, from the year before. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely the deer, right? So the deer I saw didn't have a drop tine, but I think it was the same deer that he got the sheds of. Okay. And the one I got a picture of was not the same deer.
Okay.
So I think he's off some other place, right? But I didn't know any of this, obviously, at the time. So year goes on. I throw out a camera. I think I have this deer on camera, right? Which is not the same deer. Now that I know that,
Yeah.
so I have obviously nothing at all at this point. Now that we know that, and the property owner tells one of the other guys that hunts there that he found a really big deer dead in the creek, and we've had some EHD around here. I don't know if you guys deal with that a lot down there.
No, not yet.
Oh, you
Knock on
don't?
wood.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, we get pockets of that, and it just like wipes them all out.
Huh.
Pretty bad. Like CWD is bad, but EHD's way worse. So it's just like wipe everything out. Like you just walk through the woods and everything's dead. It's kind of wild. But anyway, so you got to worry about that in the summer. And so I'm like, all right, well, this deer is dead. There's not so many big deer that are going to make it through. And so I'm thinking this deer's dead, and I'm not putting forth too much effort, to be honest with you. And I didn't get really any big. I got some nice deer on camera, and blah blah whatever. And I'm kind of half-assing it, like I said, I'm just kind of like I don't want to say I'm done chasing big bucks, but it's just like I just want to relax for a year and just take it easy. And well, that changed pretty quick. And then so my buddy shot his biggest buck. We'll just fast forward through it. So I think this deer's dead and everything, and no big deal. And my buddy shot a big buck, and this was, boy, I wish I had the dates. It was like the end of October. Okay. Mm-hmm. So end of October, he shot it out of his stand. Go down there, pull it out. I'm like, man, there's a lot of sign around here. I'm talking a lot of sign. Like trees are ripped up. This is like crazy down here. And he's a good hunter, but he doesn't put in the effort like I do. I guess you can say, like I said, I get bit by every bug there is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey man, and we kind of like, we're kind of in our own spot on that property for the most part. So like, it drives me wild, like when I can't make too many moves, like when you're kind of stuck. And so I'm bouncing around a little bit. So I don't know if I said this, but like this acreage is about 250 acres. There's about 11 people on there. And within that, we're in a section of it. So in that section, there's two of us in there, and we kind of have we put up stands, we hunt each other's stands, but mostly it's like, here's his stands, here's my stands. If you get a deer and you're done, go wherever. Right. That's pretty much how it goes.
Okay.
So I'm over there now. I put up a camera, and bam, like a couple of weeks later, like I get this double drop tine deer coming out of this area. I'm like, and I was planning on going out there because I saw this deer at this time. So like what I found, you guys probably know this, like, if you don't have a deer on camera, right, and it's getting to be rut, you get those deer cruising.
Oh yeah.
Checking out does and stuff like that. And I found like I said, you can knock those deer out early, right? But if they're not on your property, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you have a deer from the year before, I'll go there on that date. I'll bookmark that and just like bookend that day. I'll go like, hey, I don't know when your guys' rut is, but like, I would say mine's like, a peak of it would probably be like, well, boy, some people are going to probably argue this, but let's just say, let's just say, let's just say the first 2 weeks of November. How about that? But like, all right, so like, say I get a deer there the year before, right? So let's say it's the 6th. I'm going the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, and like, man, like clockwork. It's like unreal. Like I never thought that that would be like clockwork like that. You know, it's like over the years you find these things out, and you just dial in on these things, and it's just like unbelievable how dialed in you can get and how dialed in these deer are to time frames. Like unbelievable that a deer would do that, to be that dialed in 365 days of the year. He's going to be there on the same day. What are you talking about? Like it sounds ridiculous, you know, and then you find it to be true. I've killed my biggest deer doing that, you know. It's just wild. So yeah, so anyway, so sorry, but anyway, so yeah, so I'm going out there. So I see this deer, I'm tracking him, blah blah whatever. I see this other deer, but I'm backtrack. So I'm tracking this deer on the 14th of October. We're not talking about November 6th anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's on this other field, way over. You're like, I'm seeing him on this other place. I've never seen him on our property at all, anything like that. And like I get a picture of him, blah blah whatever. I think it's him. I don't have a good picture of him. So anyway, I'm going on the rut because I know he's not on our property for the most part, and I think I know when he's going to show up. And I've been doing this for a little while now, so I think I know when he's going to be there. And by God, he's there. Like so I put this camera up. He shot a deer. I put this camera up, and I got it coming out of this little thicket, and I'm at work that day, and I wanted to go out that morning. So I go out there that afternoon. And like I said, like it was a corn year, so it's hard to get back to where I'm going. It's like, man, it's like back there. And corn everywhere, you know, it's pretty far back there, but you know, their world's shrinking, because everywhere around there is this is wide open. This is what there's no like fingers or anything like that. It's like they're going to cover for the most part, and their cover's shrinking. So everything's shrinking for them all the way down. I think this is important for people to understand. Like corn years are different than bean years, and they'll be way out there. And just because they're not on your camera doesn't mean they're not out there. And it starts shrinking down their little home range and everything where they feel safe. And if anyone, man, if a combine's going by, get out there. I mean, that night too, by the way. Like, don't worry about that. Get out there. I'd sit on a combine if I could. You know, so they're out there that night. I'm out there. I get this picture of deer, and I still have no clue about this deer and how big he is or anything like that. I just have like this narrow, like here's this here's this drop tine. This, you know, I can see like nothing really.
Yeah.
You know, I can't see much of it. Very bad picture of like the most minuscule picture of a 235-inch deer you'll ever see. It was like, you know what I mean? Like the most minuscule picture you'll ever see of that kind of quality deer. So I'm like, well, whatever, man. Like it's got 2 drop tines. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, like a bullet. I'm out there. And so I'm out there, and they're harvesting. So I don't know this, but they're harvesting right by the sand. Zoop, zoop, zoop. So I can't get in there. It's windy. I just didn't feel right getting in there. So I'm sitting back. And by back, I mean like 300 yards away from the stand that I shot them out of. And I'm sitting back, and they're harvesting. And then, you know, I'm just jonesing to get in there. So I get close. They finished it at night. I can't see them, but, you know, I know they're done. And I sneak in to this further, you know, the stand that's a little bit closer. shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
but I did it. And I'm looking, I can't see anything, but deer are just piling in from everywhere. And so I get out of there. And I still have no clue about this deer. It's windy as all get out. And it's the wind shuts off at night. I'm off the next day, and I'm going down to Kentucky for the rifle season down to Kentucky, right? So my dad, my family, everyone, we're all going down to Kentucky. I still have no clue on how big this deer is, right? So like I'm still planning on going. I'm still planning on going. I don't want to ruin everyone's trip. So, this is like our time. This is what I look forward to every year, So like who wants to ruin that? You know what I mean? And you only get so many of those in a
Yeah.
lifetime. You know what I mean? So this is my time with my dad, and I'm not going to mess that up, right? So I go out the next day, and we're leaving that night. Crystal clear morning. I get out there, man. I'll tell you, it's about as early as you can wake up. So it's like, man, it's like the moon is like beaming bright. Like I got up at midnight to, take a pee, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I could see about all the way across. I live out in the country. I mean, I could see far. I'm like, oh boy, we better get out there early. So I get up at like 3 a.m. I get out there. I'm chasing deer off the field. Yeah, I didn't say this in the other one, but like, man, there was a deer standing out there, and like I couldn't see what it was, but I had my headlamp on, and this thing would like not leave the field. I like now thinking about it, like I have a pretty good feeling like that might have been him. Like he was out there, and like I don't know. I kind of like to think it might have been him.
Yeah.
So I run off all these deer, and it's like it was 3 a.m. Probably took me about a half hour to get there. It's a 3:30, 3:45, something like that. I don't know when sunlight was, but anyway, so I run them all off. And, that's not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do, I guess, right? So I get out there, I'm sitting in the stand, and I'm sitting in my buddy's stand. so I'm sitting in my buddy's stand, which I put up the camera there and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting out there, and like, still, like I said, I don't have any idea on how big this deer is. I have no clue. And I don't even realize that it's like the deer I saw the year before. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure that is the deer that I saw the year before, right? So I'm out there, and I it's like quiet, clear. The moon's out, the lights are on, man. The stadium lights are on, and we're ready for the show. And what are the odds? Like I'm thinking about this more and more. Like, what are the odds that you get a deer on camera and you get him there the next day? Like, how could a deer on camera, like a big deer like that, and you never see him again?
Yeah.
If you're cruising through, like, like I've had time to think about this a little bit more, and it's like the odds of that are like not very good. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any other experiences of like having a deer on camera and then getting them the next day.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think I have, but so he's on camera in the morning at 4 a.m. coming out of this area. Okay. And I'm walking past this area. So I'm walking past this field, and I'm going to try to explain it to you guys here the best I can. So like I parked, and I'm walking through this long field, this ag field, right? So it's long. It's not squared off or anything like that. On the right side's timber, on the left side's timber, and it's circled by it's basically circled by a creek for the most part. Okay. So it drops off to a creek. So I'm on top. Okay. And the ag field's on top, and then there's timber around surrounding that. We'll call it just like a finger of ag field. So I'm walking down this thing, and there's only one way to get to it, and then like so where I'm going is like on the left-hand side is where I can hunt. On the right-hand side is where other people hunt. Okay, so it's split right down the middle. And on the left-hand side, there's timber, and then it goes to a grass field. And then there's timber, and then there's my stand. There's a stand I'm hunting, looking over another grass field, if that makes any sense. So there's a grass field behind me. There's a grass field in front of me that I'm hunting, and there's ag to my right.
Okay.
And I'm in timber. And then to my left is the creek down below. And then right in front of me, there's like the grass field, like I said. And then there's a little runoff from the field with trees that runs down to the creek. Okay. So it's like a runoff right in front of me. So I get up into my stand. Right. So I get up into the stand I'm hunting, and I hear like this raking going on, and it's like crazy. I'm like, this can't. I'm thinking it's like a raccoon fighting or something, Like I have no clue what's going on right now. And like the last thing I'm thinking of is like this deer's back, like, and he's right in front of me. You know what I mean? Like that's the last thing I'm thinking. And bam, bam, I'm hearing this raking like a moose on a willow tree, or like those guys that have the scapula along the tree. And I'm looking to my right. So to my right, like I said, out in front of me is grass field. To my left is woods down to the creek. To my right is an ag field. So like at night with the moon out, the ag field is like a lighter color from the corn and everything. So you can see out there better. Just like naturally, you can just see out there better. There's nothing out there. And like the lightness of the corn, you can just see better. So I can see bucks out there and deer just walking. I can 250 yards away, I can see them walking. That's how bright it is.
Wow.
Like, holy cow. Like we're in business here.
Yeah.
And then I hear walking. And then I just see this drop tine on his right-hand side, right as soon as he hits the cornfield. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what am I looking at right now? This is the first time and I still don't have like a great look at him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at his side, but I'm just like, I know from experience, like, this is something, I've never been around. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I thank God I didn't have a grunt tube. I would have blown that thing like a trumpet. I would have scared that thing off to another county, man. And so he works off, So he works off out in this cornfield, and I'm looking, I'm looking at him. And at this point, I'm shaking like a leaf. And I'm just like looking at my clock. I'm like, come on, man. Like, let's go. Like, I'm realizing like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. You're just going to work out there, eat a little bit, and then come right back in. Right. So like this could work. We might have a chance here. Then I start seeing him working behind me, and he just keeps working off and working off and working off to the point to where I can't see him anymore. I'm like, oh no. And he's working to like other stands and stuff. I'm like, oh no, at least you saw one in your lifetime, And I'm like, he's gone, right? And then, but my camera is 200 yards behind me in this little grass field behind me, going back into the woods. Boom, he hits this at like 6 o'clock. So it was probably like 5:30 when I saw him, right? And he hits the thing at like 6 o'clock. And I got a video of him. Right. And he's walking. He's got like stuff in his antlers too, like from when he was raking in the trees and stuff. And like he's just walking like a moose. And then I froze it. Like I finally it was bad cell reception there. I like hit it a million times. I'm like, man, every camera I got, I'm gonna burn it. All those batteries out. I don't care. We'll put $4,000 in, batteries today. I don't give a shit. We're going for it. So I did all that. Like I finally get this video of him, and I pause it at one point of him just like waddling back and forth into this area. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like, this is it. This is it. This is my time. Like, this is the biggest deer. I might have the state record, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I might have county record, state record, like that's not what I'm looking for or anything like that. But I'm just like in awe of this animal.
Right.
I'm just like, holy cow. Like, what do I have here? Like, this is something amazing, And so I'm like trying to send it to my dad. Like I said, I don't have good cell reception and all this stuff. I'm like, and I finally get it to him. He was like, holy.
Yeah.
And we're, like I said before, like we're supposed to go down to Kentucky, like afternoon. I'm like, he's like, no, we're not going anywhere. he goes, forget all that. He goes, I'm staying here until you get this thing. I'm just sitting here like, like I'm starting to feel bad. I'm like, Dad, just go with my uncle, blah, blah, whatever. I'll catch up with you. I got the whole week, blah, blah, whatever. But he wanted to stay there until I got this thing, which I'm like, man, you're going to be sitting here all week and I'm not ever going to get this thing, as you know what I mean? It's a wild animal, right. And he's going the other way, I mean, like the odds of you getting them is just like, the odds of him even being there is wild. And the odds of you getting a shot at him is even wilder. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it is. I've been at it for a while. And so I'm like talking to him, having this conversation. I'm just like kind of feeling bad about it. And like, I'm ruining everyone's trip and all that kind of stuff. And, so I'm sitting there and so I'm like, all right, well, he's wanting me to do this. So, I mean, he's my dad and, whatever. He ain't going anywhere. He's already made up his mind. And I'm not going anywhere. I've already made that decision. So here we go. Right. So here we go. And I got a week off of work and I'm going for it. So perfect timing. Right. So I'm sitting in the stand. I'm like, man, I had now the sun's out and everything. I'm like, man, if I was going to shoot this deer and he's coming out here, boy, I've got a lot of shooting lanes to get, So I get down, I'm cutting some lanes and stuff like that, little piddly things, I got to get my shooting lanes right. And I'm also thinking like, man, I got 2 pictures of this deer behind me, 200 yards away. We don't have any stands in there. How am I going to set up? So I'm thinking all these things, right? How am I going to get in here? How am I going to do this? I'm thinking of a good solid week of hunting, ahead of me and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's about probably 12:30. I'm doing all this kind of stuff. Usually I take a break. I ain't taking a break today, right? I'll turn into a skeleton in this stand. You know what I mean? Like this is a different story.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not taking a break at all. And I'm just thinking about how I'm going to get in there, where I'm going to set up. I'm trying to remember what's in this little area behind me, and all this kind of stuff, and how I'm going to set up on them. And I'm getting down, and I actually had another camera with me. Like I said, it's bad cell reception, so I'm messing around, dude. I'm messing around, cutting down trees and all that. Like, I'm quiet about it, right? I'm not. I know I have a 200-something inch deer, or so I think, behind me, right? So I'm not like willy-nilly about this. I'm being quiet and doing my due diligence, and I'm cutting down and trying to figure all this out and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Am I going to go over there? Am I going to try hunting this deer? Because I've hunted on the ground and I've hunted a lot of different ways. Like, I don't just like stick to a stand. Like I've had a lot of success, like trying to do different things and like hunting off the ground and like a lot of different things. I've done a lot of different weird stuff. Like I said, hunting off a ladder, you know what I mean? Like I think out of the box a little bit on some things, and I'm not afraid to try different things. So I'm thinking this whole time, like, just get over there, dude. Like, you got to get over there is in my mind, but also, hey, tomorrow morning, just don't go random. You got to get back to the stand. He was here. Let's make sure that this is cleaned up too. So as I'm thinking all this out, I got all this stuff cleaned up and everything. We're getting about to like 1:30 in the afternoon. And I'm like, you want to know what? Like, I have to walk back the same direction this deer is. So like, I'm really going to mess this up in the afternoon. Like there's no good way of getting out of here. Like, you want your access and you want to get out of there clean, especially in this situation, man. I'd walk around the world to get out of here, to not mess this up. And I guess there's ways for me to get out of here, but it's going to be a nightmare. So I'm thinking like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. This deer's going to go out and feed in this field. He's behind me. My only real way to get out of here is to walk in this field. Let's try something else. so I get this rattle bag out and I start going to town on it. I'm like, hey, it's rut. Why not? I'm like, I haven't had real much success on a rattle bag or any of that kind of stuff. I get some young bucks coming in, but like nothing like this,
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm looking behind me. I'm grabbing this tree and looking behind me to where this deer went, to where, he tripped that camera and everything. I'm hitting this rattle bag in like seconds. Boom, 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 boom. I hit it. I'm like, I'm thinking it's a squirrel. Like, man.
One time it wasn't.
Squirrel behind me. a million times. Unless I'm squirrel hunting, and they're never behind me.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no way that it's this deer, that it's this deer behind me. There ain't no way he went that way, So I hit it again, like right behind me. I'm like, there's no way. And so I turn over my shoulder, sure. I mean, like, I turn over my shoulder, bam, all I see is a drop tine. I'm like, there's no way. So I turn over my shoulder. He's standing right there, 20 yards in a hole that I just trimmed. Standing there, broadside. I'm like, there's no way this is happening right now. So let me rewind a little bit. So, like, where I was down trimming and doing all this stuff, he was bedded right there at a minimum, at a maximum. How about that? 50 yards away from me all day long. He like I said, he came up and was scraping along that stuff, went out to the field, hit my camera. The only other way down to that creek is right past my camera. Went down to the creek again and then just bedded to go back up where I saw him in the morning. Yeah. So he like that whole time that I was down there jacking around, he was just like bedded right there. And it's like real thick with honeysuckle, just overgrown like crazy, and not much wind or anything, like I said, but like, I'm real quiet about it. And my wind's just going right off of there, but like a good place for him to be. Like, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, man, that's a good place for a big buck to be. It's real thick, and it's like a drainage. So like he's getting thermals coming down there. That wind swirling down in that bottom, like he could smell everywhere, just a smart old buck, just a very smart old buck. So like I shot him there 20 yards and he just jumped up, went about 10 yards, stood there, just like didn't mule kick or anything like that. And just like ran through that thicket. I didn't hear him kick or anything, did nothing like that. And so I didn't even see my bolt or anything, like I said, like, hunting in like these situations and like some of these properties, I'm not too proud to use a crossbow or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like he goes 50 yards this way. He's on someone else's property. I don't know. He goes this way. He's on someone else. So like, I always thought like, most ethical thing was the most, I'm not taking 100-yard shots with these things. This is 20 yards, First I've ever shot with that was 40 yards was the furthest I've ever shot with it. But I've been working with my recurve bow and all that guy. Well, I wasn't ready for a recurve bow on that guy, you know what I mean? So we'll try it next year. Right. So, but anyway, so he goes off, and like, he just piled up in 20 yards. I mean, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like,
did you see him go down?
I did not.
No,
I did not see him go down. I was freaking out. So and I didn't see my bolt, like I said. So I sat down like, Dad, I called my dad and I finally got reception with him. Like, I'm messing around with them. so like this whole thing is like, hey man, we're gonna be sitting here all week. We're not going to Kentucky, So I call him like, hey man, I shot him.
Yeah.
I go, hey, pack your bags. We're going to Kentucky. I go, I think I might have shot him. I have no clue. I don't see my bolt or anything like that. I have no clue if I shot him or I shook myself into oblivion or anything like that. So he's like, are you kidding me? I go, I'll let you know. To be continued. So like I get down, I look at my bolt and I have like corn on the fletching. I'm like, oh no. Like, so like I'm thinking I'm like in a nightmare here. I'm like, oh, but like hit him, right? So like not a total nightmare. And so I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble because he didn't mule kick or do any of that kind of stuff. He stood there like just stud, just stood there. And just walked off. And so like then I started seeing a little bit of blood. Man, I just like walked in a few yards and I saw him, which is kind of funny. Like I saw him, his big brow tine or drop tine was down, and like his other drop tine was like in line with like his other antlers. I'm like, oh no, I shot the wrong deer. That was my initial thought for like a couple of seconds. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? Like, of course, like I shot the wrong deer. Because like when I see them, I just like stop looking at their antlers. I just look right in the pocket, And so, yeah, it was a perfect shot. It was like perfect, And what else could you want? You know what I mean? So I walked up on him. Then I called my dad back and got him out there. And man, you talk about emotions. You know what I mean? Like this is everything anyone's ever. I'll tell you what, like, like I said before, it's like you think of, man, it just brings me right back to when I was 6 years old.
Yeah, full circle moment.
Right back there. It's like when I was 6 years old, and all those days I've spent in the woods, with the woods waking up, and you're looking at those branches going like this, and you're thinking,
yeah,
that's a 200-inch buck right there, and then you go, oh no, that's a branch. But for real, all joking aside, it's just like, man, I shot this deer, and it just, it's kind of a little humbling a little bit because, all these people have helped me get to this point. And, man, I'm so appreciative of all these people. It's like, I didn't even shoot it. I could care. I don't want to say I can care less. I have so much appreciation for like the rarity of this thing. And, I have so much appreciation of the deer and whitetail deer in general. And, but like these people that have helped me get here, it's just like unbelievable. It's like, man, you take this experience of this deer, and now I'm thinking about like I can remember walking out, like I said, across the creek with my dad and sitting in that stand, watching him fold these deer, and like I can remember that like it's yesterday, and I was 6 years old. This happened 2 months ago, and you tell me to pick one today, right now, and I'd pick, when I was 6 years old.
Oh yeah, that's and that's something I see firsthand experience, and I know you're gonna. You both have seen this, but it's like when we're younger, we don't really take what we had going for us. As we get older, there's not as many people around. People are aging out, or people are passing away, and it's like now I'm sitting back going, wow, in most seasons, there was for years, me, my brother, my dad, and my uncle did not hunt. Like there was 100 yards between us, and there was a time, I was like, this is stupid. Like when I started hunting, about this is dumb. Like now I'm like, man, I would take that back in a heartbeat, because most times I'm out in the woods chasing deer by myself now. And it's like, my dad's not 100 yards away, until rifle season gets there, then he's back out there. But it's like just, my uncle, he's not, he's hunting somewhere else now. Like this is just crazy to think about over the years, like how everything's changed. And I know what you're saying with that. Where I'm going with that is I know what you're saying with that deer, because I didn't shoot the inches you did, but I shot a deer this year that's potentially my biggest. Need to get it official. And when I walked up on it, it was like I just sat there and put my arm around him and was like, man, like here's a full circle of, you know, everything that we've battled through. And, you know, and it's the peak of where we are in our life here. But you start thinking about, wow, that I had it made back in the day when I had to wait till I was 6th grade to shoot a deer. Now I get it. My dad didn't want to hunt by himself, you know? So,
yeah.
But,
yeah, you know, it's like, man, hunting is such a beautiful thing. And like, maybe you just have to go through it. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, like maybe you have to go through the whole thing to understand what it means. You know, I maybe that's what it is. And like, I think I've gotten to that point to like, man, I've been so like fortunate to have these guys in my life and, you know, and like all these people around me, because without that, what is it, you know, at least for me personally,
right.
So unfortunately, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are maybe listening to this that don't have those people in their life. And, you know, I don't want that to deter anyone from getting out there, because, you know, the outdoors is such a great thing and you can get a lot from it. And I think, you know, like a lot of things like, you know, I say like, you know, you want to pass it on and everything, but like, I guess what I'm saying with that is like, it's such a beautiful thing. It's more than just like antlers and stuff like that. It's just like the purity of it, and just like, you know, just like getting back to earth, and, you know, the sunset and sunrise, and and the people you're around, and the people that, you know, it just brings people together, I think. And all the hoopla of the world kind of disappears a little bit, and you get back to earth a little bit, and to what's important in the world. And and it's been a great thing for me in my life. And I think a lot of people can understand that. I don't think you could fully understand it unless you and it's not like shooting big deer. I think it's just like, hey man, go take a hike in the woods, you know.
No, you don't have to shoot a big deer to experience it.
Exactly. And you know, but shooting big deer is fun too. You know, like if you ever want to go down that road, you know, like there's something fulfilling about that also. And you know, it's been a wild ride, you know, but like, you know, I like, so like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, you know, I got to a point to where like I was chasing big bucks, and it's a different feel. You know, it's a different feel, and it's man, how do I want to say this without making it sound bad? It's a cool thing, right? And you have a respect for the animal, but it's not what it's all about. I don't know how to say that. There's more to it than just that. Like if that's your only worry, like you're missing out on everything else. You're missing out on, like, don't focus just on this big deer. Like, realize the people that are around you and then that are helping you get to this place, and, you know, the beautiful property that you're on, these, you know, all these experiences that you're having. That's what's important, because once you get to the end, it's just the end. Like, for the most part, like, you know, it's just, it's hunting is so much more than just killing a deer. You know, for me, it has been. And so what a beautiful thing.
So let's rewind it a little bit. You said we kind of get off track, but we usually do with this stuff.
No, for sure.
I said the deer's laying down. You just see it. At what moment when you picked it up, like, was it like, this is 200? Like, wow. Like,
So, well, once I got that camera picture, and like I saw its drop tine, like I knew that this was, man, I didn't know what I thought all right, for the sake of embarrassment, I don't know. Like, I thought like I had the state record for sure, but then I started looking it up a little bit more. I'm like, oh man, someone shot a 327-inch deer down in southeast Illinois, like in 2018. I'm like, well, Well, all right. No, we're not quite there yet. But
if you'd have just passed him,
I thought like, man, this is like something amazing. You know what I mean? Like, and it really is. It quite honestly is. And like when I started walking up on it, whew, boy, I saw it for the first time, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. To be honest with you, I've like I said, I've shot like, it's weird for me to talk about. Like, so not to sound arrogant, but like I've shot some nice deer now. Okay, so I've shot some really nice deer, and I'm walking up on this thing, and I'm just like, this is different. This is different. This is completely different, like, than anything I've ever shot, anything I've ever even like put my hands on or seen. Even his body was different. Like even so, like I got up on him, like this is just, it almost felt like I was in trouble. Like I did something wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who am I to do this? You know, like, I don't know if that sounds weird.
No, I get it.
I don't know if that sounds weird, but like, this is such an animal that like, I don't know if I feel worthy of it, type of thing.
Yeah.
I guess you can say, like, this isn't for me, type of thing. And so then I got my dad out there, and he, extremely proud of me. And man, I don't want to get emotional on that, but yeah, just super proud of me. And like, we had a great moment there. It was like came full circle of, a bunch of hard work that went into that, just like, so yeah, that was really something to experience, like all your dreams come true.
Yeah.
In a certain way.
With that thing. I literally have him on my phone sitting here just looking at him on your trip. I don't think it's you. I just keep looking. I'm like, man, if I caught a glimpse of that, like I would hunt 10 years for him if I never saw him again. Like,
right.
It's just that something to that caliber walked on that dirt. That's just
yeah. I mean,
it
was really something to like, really something to experience. Like it was like a out of body experience. Like I felt like I was watching myself. Like I don't. That sounds weird.
Yeah.
To say, but like it was like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like I worked very hard for something, but like also like I didn't. You see a lot of people working very hard for things, and like you just don't like a dream come true, but like almost like it's not real.
Yeah,
it just didn't feel real, and it kind of still doesn't feel real, and it's still real. It's like it's been 2 months, like almost to the day, and it still feels like everyone knows about this thing, and like I'm known for this thing now,
right?
And it feels a little. It's cool, right? Like I'm not going to lie to say that like I didn't have this goal or this dream in my life to do this, but like I said before, like you start throwing cameras out there and you start getting an idea on what's really out there, and you start realizing like these things they're not out there, they're really not. And there's so many people after them, and it's so hard to get. And then you start watching all these channels and all this social media, and you start realizing, these people are putting forth so much money and effort, and they're farming deer, and they're not getting them. So who am I to do this?
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of that, I guess you can say. But I did work hard, so like mixed emotions, I guess you can say. Like I did work hard, and I do, and I've put in a bunch of effort, and but they have to exist also. So like I feel very fortunate also. So like how much of it's luck and how much of it's hard work. I'll tell you one thing's for sure. I was ready for my opportunity when it came. How about that? I was more than ready for whenever that day came. If it ever came in my life, I was ready for it, and I took advantage of it when it did. So,
yeah, that's
all I can do, I guess. Right?
Yeah. looking back, heck, you said this was 2 months ago. Gunner shot his state record deer, 19?
Yeah, I saw that. Holy cow.
And it's like still, yeah, it's like, I still think, I'm like, man, that's crazy. That's my friend. Like, I know that guy. Like, you always hear about, like, you hear of Mr. Hansen, which rest in peace, Milo Hansen, but it's like,
I saw that
hear
too.
about
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
I hear about you. I hear about this. And it's like Gunner's my best friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's, so I get what you're saying with that, because it's unreal that stuff like that happens. But then, like, when it's just you or someone it's like, man, it's like foreign. Like, I don't know how to act. It's like you don't know what to do. And but so say when you shot that deer, and then you said your dad was there.
Mm-hmm.
How long until did you post it on social media and it blew up?
Oh no, so no, I don't really have so I've never done anything I've never shot a deer for to try to show anyone or anything. You know what I mean? I had Facebook up to this point, local, you know what I mean? I grew up in a small town. I just have my friends from around town on Facebook.
Yeah, that's I
don't follow anyone or do any of that kind of stuff. Quite literally I don't. And so then I put it on, but occasionally I have a whole bunch of deer that I haven't put on social media or anything like that. No one knows about that, but I have a bunch of deer that I haven't put on. And so then I put that on there to some of my friends. They're like, holy cow. So they went nuts about it. And then Buckmasters called me on it, and I did an interview with them, and then but no one else has really contacted me other than you guys, to be honest with you.
Really?
So I'm pretty quiet about things. So
yeah.
So
that's kind of something
keep to myself on stuff, but I'm going to bring it down to the Illinois Deer Classic. That's kind of a cool thing to bring it down to, and
that'd be neat.
Yeah. So I'll do that, but I don't get too worked up on things. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's like a personal thing for me, I guess you would say. I never shot any deer to show anyone anything, but myself, just to prove to myself that I can do it.
It's crazy. It's crazy telling you that, because we do this, we do podcasts, and we video our stuff, but it's like on our side, I've always thought of it as I truly enjoy the filming. I love to do it, but it's like I've always told myself, my grandpa tells me stories, and if I could just see a video, I could understand really what he's talking about. And so I've always put in my mind, one day I can pull up these videos and show my grandson or granddaughter or whatever it is. And, it might be a cousin. I don't know hopefully I'm your grandfather one day. And it's like, heck, I'm more excited to show my daughter when she's 6. Hey, look, your dad's on TV. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I'm doing it for. I don't care. You look at our YouTube, we only have 839 subs. People are like, wow. But I'm like, I don't really care. It doesn't hurt my feelings that we're not, we don't get paid to do any of this. We do it out of our pocket. We are in negative every month paying for the softwares and doing all this. And that doesn't bother me, because I do it because that's what I love.
I love it.
And Gutter and I've always said, if it became a job, we're walking away. And
for sure,
and
man.
That's just the way it is.
That's what it's all about when it comes to job or something like that. I mean, could you imagine it becoming a job, something like that? A nightmare. That'd be a nightmare. And
I feel like you shoot something, the pressure in the tree. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah, so the first time I saw my face on TV, I was just it was kind of a little bit weird, but at the same time, hey, man, you know what? Someone gets to see all my hard work.
Yeah.
So there was something kind of nice about that too. And, someone will see this, so that's kind of nice to know, I've kept to myself with all these deer and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of nice to also know that someone will be able to see all my hard work, and, that's a nice thing. For sure.
Yeah. And that's something that we like to showcase is the hard work. But another thing, like a lot of our people that are just like us, like we have some permission pieces. Yes, we have a couple leases. My family owns some land, Gunner's family owns some land, and like all that, all the land that has been bought has been from hard work from my past family.
Right.
You know, and that's what it's like. The industry, kind of where I'm getting to with this, is like a lot of people think you have to have money to do it, and it's not. You know, my most excited point for next year is this permission piece we got, and how hard we have to work to get what we're in there, because the access is limited. We actually have to take a boat to it and then hike through public land to even touch the fence on this place, and it's a 200-yard hike uphill to get to the fence line. You know, and
How bad do you want it?
Yeah, it's like that's what I'm excited to showcase, because I'm not knocking this. Like if I saw a deer, I might try it, but I'm not hunting someone's bird feeder in their backyard. And
I totally understand what you're saying and everything you're saying.
Yeah.
Because they put this out. I'm not knocking what they're putting out either. You know, like that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not against anything anyone does or anything like that. But the majority of what people are seeing on social media are manicured food plots, $1 million whatever, and that's how you shoot deer. Then this is not true.
No.
For most people. And like, you know what I mean? Like it's just not. You gotta put in some work. And not only that, but you can shoot big deer too.
Yeah.
Right. So you can shoot big deer. You don't have to have this to shoot big deer. And that's important that people understand that, because I got to a point where I didn't fully understand that. Right? So, you know, it's people need to understand that they can pass smaller caliber deer and let them go. I think that's important for every state to understand that.
Yep.
Every hunter out there to understand that, hey, just because it pops over to your neighbor's property doesn't mean your deer's dead. Okay. So, but honestly, man, I mean, I think that's important. I think, man, I would be shocked if it was less than 50% of people thought that, like, hey, this decent deer goes over there and it's dead. Because I believe that at one point, you know what I mean? So like, I think a lot of people believe that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people believe
it's a mindset.
This deer goes over here, it's dead. So I'm just going to shoot it myself. And I think that's lowering the age class of deer, and it's hurting deer hunting in general. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But,
no, I 100% agree. I mean, it's you know, and you're looking at regulations of, I feel like people are going to places and feeling like they have to come back with something. And I'm saying that I'm pointing fingers at myself, because if I go pay what it costs to go to different states, I'm not coming back without a piece of meat. And if it's the last day and it's a spike, I'm sorry. Like, it's just crazy, you know. And then also, I think what's really hurting us, and it's like people are going to be like blown away. I mean, I'm saying this, but even like social media, like it's like people feel like they have to get the post about it. And
man, you're taking the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, and it's like it's not about just that post. Like I post my stuff, but it's my passion. Like I've literally quit sports in high school. I've done a lot of stuff to get to be able to hunt.
Right.
And when I post, it's not me saying, "Look at me." It's me going, "Here's my state championship ring." Like I worked a lot of years for this, you know. And that's kind of where I'm at. And it's just weird that what we've kind of leaned to is, all right, we need to do this. Well, to do that, how do you do it? And it's just crazy the avenues that we're getting to anymore, when in reality, it's like the traditions are kind of getting forgot about.
And I think we go back and forth with the colleagues of ours that are in this kind of industry.
Oh, yeah.
They pigeonhole themselves, and they like just content creators in general in this space, like they say you have to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, you're not shooting big deer, you know. And they say things like that, and I think it turns people off, and people start to think, well, you know, can I really do what I want to do? You know, that, and you know, I think it turns people off to
yeah. Looking at us, I mean, me and Gunnar hunt different. We hunt. I don't know how different you can hunt, but we do hunt different. We don't have the same ways. I'm sure I say stuff to Gunnar and he's like, you know, maybe that'll work for you. And maybe he tells me stuff like that too. And it seems to work. And that's what I want people to do is, and just like you said, you took a ladder out in the middle of the corn and set it in it so you could see, you know, and that's just stuff that I don't think people look at that and they're like, you know, wow. Could you imagine the day that someone made the saddle, how much grief he got probably for the first month? And he was like, look, I'm going to put this around my waist. I'm going to go up this tree and hang from this limb. Now look at it. Everyone's like mind blown by it. And all it is a piece of fabric hanging you from a limb, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, we have to sell everything to get that. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, it's just crazy, the avenue and what we see. You know, you look at some of the best hunters, and in my eye, I'm like, are they good hunters, or are they just forking money out and paying for deer?
Well, I shot
And
my biggest deer out of a climber still. So
Yeah.
I don't really care what, you know, and I'm not going to feel bad that I shot a deer with a crossbow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm in the same boat you guys are. Like, I hear this stuff and like, you know what I mean? Like, a part of me for a little while was like, man, I just like don't even want to tell someone that I shot it with a crossbow. Like, should I feel bad about it? But like, I've never shot a deer to impress someone other than myself. You know what I mean? Like, and I did what I thought was right, and I'll stand behind that. You know what I mean? So, so situational. You know, whatever. You know, I got that thing to be more ethical, and like it's sometimes they put it off as like it's less ethical. Like I'm taking 300-yard shots with this. No, I'm shooting 20 yards. But like I grew up in a gun hunting family, you know, blah blah whatever. But I have no problem getting a bow or whatever. Like I'm working with a recurve and all this kind of stuff. Like I like my main gun is a muzzle loader. Like, but I don't care about that. I care about the animal itself. I guess you can say, like, I'm not trying to impress anyone or fit into any box or anything like that. Like, my whole main goal is to figure out big whitetail deer, and then you know, be as ethical as I can be, and you know, use whatever weapon I can for whatever I feel is right. You know, and especially for the property too. Like, I'm not going to go traipsing around everywhere, or I'm not going to lose the deer of a lifetime just because it goes across the property line. Like, it's not, I'm not going to do that. You know, it's just not going to happen. So, you know, and like you said, it's like, yeah, the ethics of things are kind of like a little, I get worried about these things. I'm glad you said that about, you know, like where things are going and, you know, what's important. And, you know, I kind of have little nightmares about like, you know, is everyone just like so focused on big whitetail? It's cool, right? Like I get like, who wants to talk about shooting a doe? You know what I mean? Like, I understand why these conversations are happening and everything like that. That's cool, but I just like, let me give an example. Okay, how about that? I'll give an example. So my buddy, he's same age as me, 28 years old, and he goes out for the first time with his buddies down Southern Illinois, and he's hunting for the first time, but he's, you know, sights his gun in with me and everything like that. And he's asking me advice and all this kind of stuff. And he's going out with his in-laws, right? So he's going out there. He's like, "Hey, man, I just passed up a couple 8-pointers." And all this. I'm just sitting there like, man, like, shoot the deer. Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, there's this idea that like you need to shoot a big deer, you need to shoot a big buck to be successful. Otherwise, it's just like I never thought of that when I was coming up, I guess you can say. But like there's a little bit of sportsmanship and all that kind of stuff. But like, you know, it's you need to get your feet wet in the whole thing, and you need to work your way up. And I don't know what it's going to do to the age class of deer if everyone's out there trying to shoot, you know, older class deer, and that's all they're trying to do. I don't know. It just seems. I was so happy with the first buck I shot. You know what I mean? Like, I was thrilled to death. I'm so thrilled to death and proud of it. You know, it ain't no 235-inch deer, I can tell you that. But I'm still extremely proud of it. So, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't keep going that way to where everyone, and it can be a selfish sport. I've seen
Oh yeah.
with people, it's like, man, get the kids out there, like
Fight.
stop worrying about this kind of stuff and get the kids out there. I just don't want it to be devalued in the future because
Mhm.
everyone else is so selfish about this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I hunt places that a whole bunch of people hunt and you would think like I'd be upset about that. I'm not upset about it. Everyone needs a place to hunt, right?
Yep.
So I'm shooting big deer on places where there's a whole bunch of people to hunt, and that's fine with me. Like some people might not look at that way, but hey, guess what? Other people get to hunt. Other people get the experience. What's wrong with that? Like I think that's fine. And you can't hog everything.
No.
There's only limited areas for people, and it's getting pay to play type of thing in Illinois for sure.
Oh,
And
everywhere.
I'm so thankful that these people just let me come in there and hunt and give me one stand. That's fine.
Mhm.
Give me one stand to sit in because I didn't have one stand,
Yep.
10 years ago
Mhm.
for a decade. You know what I mean? So I'm more than thankful. And anyone, trying to push people out and do that kind of stuff is just I just don't have any tolerance for that kind of stuff and trespass and all that kind of thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
be thankful you have a place, be respectful of everyone that's around you, and be respectful of the people that are letting you hunt there. Because I'll go to a place and I went to one place and he's sitting there like, hey man, call me when you go there, call me when you get back, and blah blah blah. And then eventually he told me, he's like, I had this guy, he was just like, he would just come whenever and sneak in the back and do all this weird stuff. It's like, people just kind of like ruin it for other people.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
One
like,
bad
what are we doing? We're all in this together, aren't we? It's like
Mhm.
you got to be respectful of other people, whether or not you want to be.
Yeah, but that's a hard word anymore.
Yeah, right, isn't
If
it?
you have an opinion and the person next to you has opinion, then they're wrong. It's like, what? No, they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's freedom of
No, and
speech. Our grandparents fought for that.
Yeah,
Big
right.
grandparents.
And even where I hunt now, it's like people drive on our side to hunt their side. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
am I going to have a bad day about that, or am I just going to hunt? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go hunt. Just don't. I don't know. It's kind of hard to swallow some of those things, and like, but as outdoorsmen, we need to be a little bit more respectful to one another, and
Yeah. Yep.
And we talked about this a lot.
It takes one bad apple.
Yep.
Taylor and I have talked about this a lot. We're in this together. This
Right,
is
for sure.
these are our resources, and this is what we're doing. And it's people try to distract and make us come at each other with like different
Right.
mountain lion topics and mountain lion versus lynx and stuff. That stuff's going on in Colorado,
Right.
and so just all these distractions, they're trying to pin us on each other. We don't need to be doing that kind of stuff
Right.
at all.
And meanwhile, there's people trying to take, state land and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Mhm.
pay attention to what's really going on, and stop interfighting with each other, and
And don't
just
look
be
at one
respectful.
source. Don't look at one source. Go look at many on the topic.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a wild world we live in, and it's crazy
Mhm.
sitting on this side because people, think since we're doing this, it has to be about what we do, and I'm like, or it's like, I don't know. It's a weird subject. I've never ever tagged out in Oklahoma with 2 deer, $2.
No.
This year I did, and it's like, and I'm mixed emotions about that. It's like,
Right.
I was super happy at the time because my kid was going to be here anytime. And then when it happened, I was like, man, this is wild because I did it. That was like a life goal to tag out on 2 big deer, and I did it. But now it's like, now the hunting is over. Like, I'm going to have to be calling Gunner or begging my dad to let me go sit in his tree. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have to go with people. And that's just weird because, like, I don't know, it's just a different aspect. And it's just crazy. I don't know. It's just wild what what we're seeing. I mean, I guess that could be any subject you want to talk about, but like what we're seeing on this side is like, and people are like, well, you guys are the reason why. And I'm like, really? Then you don't know our channel. You don't know our channel.
A lot of people like to point fingers, you know what I mean? I like, yeah, it is a crazy world, but I think the people that have their feet on the ground the most are like outdoorsmen. And
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I really do. And I think, there's no people better than outdoorsmen, like, you talk about a couple bad apples like I'm talking about right now, but for the most part, I run into great people, and I'm around great people, and the best people I know are outdoorsmen, so you have that, and then you have the other thing, and it just hurts a little bit more when you have the other thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And because it's such a great thing, and you don't want to see bad stuff happening to something that you love so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
I feel that.
It's hard to see, but I pray to God that it's one day, 200 years from now, you guys are sitting in, two guys are sitting in your seat, and I'm sitting in my seat, and someone's talking about a big deer. I mean, that's ultimately the goal.
Yep.
And I hope we get there. And
I mean, I'm sure, when, Bill Dance on the fishing side and Team Realtree and all these people, who are the turkey people, when they start, like Mr. Fox, when they started, people probably were bad mouthing them, and I keep this in my mind all the time. Like, people probably look down on them, like, you're going to be the reason this sport changes. And now I'm sitting here and I tell people, like, I watch your videos and that inspired me, and Mr. Fox has passed on since then. And I'm still like, that dude was 90, at least 80 out in the woods, still shooting turkeys, and still smiled and almost cried every time he shot one.
right.
And I bet day one, someone said, you're going to run this industry. And look what he did. He blew it up, and he did it with tradition. And that's what's important. And that's it's like you said, I hope that's what happens. When I'm done and I can't walk, I hope someone's like, I remember that guy and he changed it. He made a different outlook. And that's all. If I can just get one guy to say that, or one girl, my world's complete on the hunting side. So,
well, that's just it. You know what I mean? Like, if you can, going back right to the beginning of this whole thing, and like I'm talking about my going out with my dad, and like I can remember it like it was yesterday, and I can tell you from the drive going there to like the end of it, you know what I mean? Like from being 6 years old, I'm 38 years old, you know what I mean? Like to give someone like that gift of the outdoors is just an amazing thing. You know what I mean? It's been throughout my life. It's been my whole life, just like I've never walked into the woods, and then walked out in a worse mood, I never have.
yeah.
It's just been if you're ever having a bad day, go fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like go hunting, right?
Yeah.
So
watch the sunset over a lake, something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an amazing thing to have in your life, and it's way better than like someone that can give you a pill or a doctor can give you. You know what I mean? Like honestly, and I think people are losing this, and I wish more people would understand, the value of what the outdoors can give you. It's not a big deer. It's shit. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that. That's I wish I could do a statistic. There might be one out there, but how accurate would something like this be? But like someone with outdoors versus someone saying relying on medicine.
Could you imagine?
What's suicide? What's the suicide rate on that? And
could you imagine? I mean, it would be.
I can't because
I would bet you it would be astronomical. Like,
yep.
The different. You know what I mean? Like,
and
I know what it would be.
Hiking.
You know what it would be.
Yeah. Hiking, right? We're even talking rock climbing, like anything outdoors. I don't think you have to go if you're like, oh, I don't really want to go harvest an animal. It's not all about us pulling a trigger and that makes us happy.
Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, it's like everyone has their piece, and I would like to know what it would be like percentage wise, because I bet it would be pretty scary.
Yeah, I bet it would too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a great thing, and start chasing big bucks anyway.
Yeah.
Forget about everything.
Find what you like to do out there, and mine is chasing whitetails with big wrecks on there, and not even big wrecks. They just have to be old, and I'm happy with them.
Yeah, you bet.
So
You bet. It's been a blast, like, yeah, this whole journey through life of doing that has been an amazing thing. And, I'm 38 years old, so I got a long way to go,
yep.
But as far as like chasing big bucks, like it's like one of those things, like maybe I'll turn it on, turn it off if I want to. I don't mean to sound like that, but, I like kicking back too. You know what I mean? I like kicking back and just not knowing what's out there is kind of nice also. And
I'll do that with my private places. It's like I'll get in there and get aggravated, and then it's like a point where I can start seeing myself get aggravated. I'm like,
you said it. There you go.
That's wild. So I go out to public land and I start over, and it's a whole mental restart.
You said it. And that's what chasing big bucks will kind of.
Oh yeah.
That's what I don't like. All right. So you said it. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
So yeah, chasing big bucks. That's what I don't like to see in myself.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like that. Because I love the outdoors. Right. So like, and then when I come home and look myself in the mirror and go, why are you mad? Why are you mad? You're off work. You're out here doing what you love to do.
Yep.
You're mad right now. Like I kind of get mad at myself for doing that. And I'm glad you said that. So yeah, that's what I don't like about that. Like I'll come home and be like, this is why I want to take a break from hunting big deer a little bit, because it's different. It's different.
It's a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's fun. Right.
Oh
but
yeah.
Like,
it's blast.
but like what you said, it can be a little frustrating. It's not frustrating in like such a bad way, but it's just different, I guess you can say.
Oh, it's frustrating. You can say it's frustrating. I mean, it is. Yeah. You're literally, and it's like we should be smarter than the animals because that's what we've been told, and we're not. You learn real fast.
No.
We're hunting that animal's mistakes, not its smartness, and that's
what behind it.
Yeah. And that's when we dial in is when they made the mistake in their 5.5, 6.5 years of walking this place.
Yeah.
And that it is frustrating, but I don't know. I think that's what drives me to keep doing it. And
right.
It's like that deer literally knows everything on this property that I think I know. And, then you go out the next year.
You don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
He lives there 365. We're out there for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're almost a joke out there to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eventually you start figuring that out. And then,
well, it's like us going vacation somewhere versus a local. Like we go ask the locals, hey, where should we go eat? And that's what we're in the deer. The locals. We're the vacationer out there.
Yep. And then guess what though? I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna go on vacation about every other week. That's my problem. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna go on vacation every week, and then we're gonna get that deer killed. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So is your buck? Is he getting mounted right now, or?
Yeah, he's in the process of getting mounted. Actually, he's drying right now. So
wow.
There's a guy. Yeah. So there's a local girl that I went to school with. Birds and Bones taxidermy. She's getting it done. Beautiful mount. She's got it drying right now. So there's Boone and Crockett scored it, and he's actually got a thing going on. Henry, Illinois. He's got a Schaffner's. Man, I'm gonna mess this up. So Schaffner is his name. He's got like a page or something like that, but he's got like a deer thing that he does. So like I'm bringing it there to that. So that'll be the first thing I bring it to. And that's on the 28th of February in Henry, Illinois. Yeah. And then they have the Illinois Deer Classic. So I'm going to bring it there. I think that's like the 20th, and like that's a weekend long. That's in Peoria, Illinois. And then I might go to there's something called the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest. And I think that's in like August.
Huh.
So I might bring it there too, you know,
That'd be fun.
throw my parade,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, but so yeah, it's almost done. Actually, I got a picture of it. I'll send it over to you if you want to see it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see it. So,
Yeah, for sure.
well, Andrew, thanks for your time. We,
You bet.
a lot of talking.
Good talking to you guys.
The whole story. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, just congratulations on that deer, and I know you're not going to stop there. And if you never get one over 140, I feel like it's not going to hurt your feelings either. I feel like that's where we all are. But thanks for taking time out of your day and sitting down for almost 2.5 hours and telling us a story about your deer.
So, hey, yeah. I appreciate you guys having me, and I can always talk about deer. Wait, 260. I'll call you next year.
Okay. So,
but yeah, hey, congratulations to you guys too, and
Thank you.
And it was nice talking to you guys. So we'll catch you on the next one, huh?
Catch you on the flip.